Step into the mind of the unknown, where we dive deep into the unique human experience, where we blend the dark and the light. I'm your host Fabian, this is my co-host Sam, and welcome to Anything Evil.
Yo,
what's good, y'all?
It's Friday, and you know what that means. Brand new episode of Anything Evil.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Appreciate all the love and support for the past episode. We got a lot of feedback and a lot of suggestions, and you guys want to hear about my experience as a security guard at a hospital, so we're going to get down and dirty with that. Just beware, though. It's going to be a lot of death, blood, vomit, bones cracking, limbs.
Typical Santa Ana night, boys.
Simon, I saw a lot of weird shit, a lot of scary stuff, and so maybe this would be the first disclaimer.
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
So if you're like not down with any of that stuff, because this is very real, and
if
I
you're
saw
not
this
down
stuff,
with the sickness, homie, get out of this episode,
Yeah.
dog.
you can skip all the way to minute 32. Yeah, all specific and shit.
All dumb.
But yeah, this one's gonna be a little bit squirmy, so beware. But before we get into it, just want to give a couple shout outs. Please follow our past sponsor, Dream Slam. They're gonna be having a little Winter Wonderland show on December 6th at Trademark Brewery in Long Beach. It's a special charitable show where if you donate a toy, you get a special discount to watch the show, and these shows get popping, so you know it's a very good. It's a nice treat for the family, you know, and so please follow Dream Slam for any other details, and support him as well. As well as Dream Slam, please follow us at anything_evil. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up pretty soon, like Patreon. We got some merch ideas coming up. We got some cool giveaways that we're gonna do. We're really going to push for the beginning of the year to kind of officially be, like one of those head of the table kind of podcasts, you know. We're really going to push 2026, and we really like you all to be there with us. And like the big dog keeps saying, whoever's here in the beginning, you know.
Y'all gonna get special treatment for sure.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
One more thing, guys. Keep interacting with us. Keep asking us questions. Keep signing in those DMs. Like, we appreciate all the love, you know, all the hate, whatever you guys want to tell us. Again, we're very grateful for you guys. We're very appreciative. And hopefully you guys are enjoying these episodes. I know they are a little over the place. And you know how me and Faye said this isn't supposed to be a funny podcast.
Funny.
But, you know, I think me and Faye are just really enjoying ourselves making these. So, again, thank you very much. And, yeah, man, hopefully you guys enjoy this one.
Yeah, let's get into it. So, my career as a security officer for a hospital began in, like, 2018.
Yeah.
I had been going, like, through jobs. Like, I even worked, like, landscaping for, like, a little bit. I got all, like, black and skinny and everything.
Chill.
It was a good job, though. I like landscaping, but, you know, like...
It's a different type of breed.
I didn't get picked up my probation.
They're
Like,
damn.
¿Sabes qué?
¿Sabes qué, güey? Vete, güey.
Nah, no
We
te
don't need you,
queremos.
flaco. Get out of here.
No te queremos. I was like, ¿por qué? You know, because I finished all my work and I did it all fast, but I guess, I don't know, like, people are weird. Or I might have sucked. But anyways, so I was jumping around like around 2017. I worked at Staples for a little bit too, and that job sucked too, you know. Shout out to my cousin-in-law, Tony. He knows what's up. He got me that job, and he quit as soon as I got there.
Sick asshole.
Because he knew he was just waiting for his replacement. But I quit Staples as well, and then so I was like looking for a job. And then shout out to one of my old high school buddies from drama club, Brian Carmack. He he reached out and he told me, "Hey man, why don't you come working over here at the hospital as a security guard?" And I was like, "Whatever, man.
Down.
I'm down.
It pays. I'm down.
I'm desperate right now. You know, I need that money." And dude, the first day I got there, I met the supervisor. His name was Todd. And he's a big tough guy. He's a older gentleman, and he shoots. He's a straight shooter, right? So he doesn't bullshit around. And he's like he kind of gave me he looked at me up and down, and he kind of like laughed because I guess he thought I wasn't gonna last.
He's like Slender Man. What the hell,
Simon? And then so he's like, all right, well let me take you around. This is what you would do if you got hired today. And so he took me around, and then like maybe like 20 minutes in, he got a call for a code M. So for those that don't know, or give a no, for those who don't know, code M in security is code morgue.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be murder, low key.
Nah, code morgue.
Murder was a case that they gave me.
Code morgue.
Shout out Snoop Dogg.
And como se dice, this fool got all happy,
That's that way.
because he's like, oh, right here's where I'm gonna break him, right? I guess that was his thing. And so me, like all innocent, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, go to him, right? Whatever the fuck that means. I had no idea, but he's like, oh yeah, just follow me. We're gonna go down to the basement. And I should have known as soon as it started getting like super cold in the basement of a hospital.
Hell yeah.
Because it's like you think a hospital like rooms are cold, and the basement it's like way colder.
Way colder, fool.
Yeah, so we went into this room that was like air sealed tight, so like you needed like to fucking put your weight into it to open it. And he asked me, he's like, where do you think we're at right now? Because it didn't look like a morgue. It just looked like a kitchen or something.
That fool was really trying to fucking...
Which is weird.
How this was trying to hire you and then try to fire you the same day.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I guess they're trying to mold you. Makes sense, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know where we're at. It looks like an office to me because there's a lot of paperwork. There's like a fridge. And then there's a big-ass fridge, right? And I was like, I don't know. I've never seen any of this shit, I just thought it was like a storage room. And he's like, all right. Like, totally, like, fucking with me. He's like, open that freezer up there. And then I opened it, and then luckily there was nothing there.
Oh,
damn.
damn.
And I got all lucky, but still I was like, okay, what's up? He's like, okay, open the bottom one. And then I opened the bottom one, and then there was something in there.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, I still didn't know what it was, though. Like, I don't know, because I've never
Is this
seen
where you keep your medical supplies, fool?
No, it's just una colcha, it looked like a big-ass pillow, bro, low-key.
Oh.
Because guess what? It was a kid.
Oh, damn.
Simon. Yeah.
That fool just hit you with a kid the first time?
Yeah.
Damn, what a dick, dog.
So
I would have swung at that for low key.
So again, guys, if you're a little squirmy and whatever, this is going to get graphic real quick. So my first day, I went to the morgue with my supervisor, Todd. Shout out, Todd. He told me to open the freezer. And then I thought it was a pillowcase. It looks like a pillow, right? And turns out, he's like, oh, they're going to come pick it up right now. And I was like, what the fuck? Pick what up, right? And then he's like, pull that out and then help me lift it to this gurney.
Damn.
And I was like, what? And then he unzipped the bag because like, as a security guard, we have to check if they have like necklaces or like any like whatever they have, whatever they could have to give back to the family, or whatever. And then like he unzipped it, bro, and I saw feet, and then that's when like
it hit you like
bro,
all sick. Oh,
started backing up to the wall, fainting almost. And I was like, what the fuck? I literally said, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, man, if you want to work here, you got to be used to this stuff.
We should look into Todd, my boy. Just saying.
Nah, but I was desperate, bro. I needed a job. And so he didn't tell me to like touch and all that.
Yeah.
But he's like, hey man, real talk, bro. This shit's real. This shit happens. And if you want to work here, you have to get used to this real quick. He's like, what we're supposed to do, and we have a really big responsibility. We have to take care of this. He called it a vessel, like this vessel, body. He said, we have to take care of this body. We can't make sure it hits anything because when a body's deceased, any like little like bump, it bruises. and then
Yeah.
so that makes more work for the funeral home to cover up if like it's an open casket, you know. And bro,
Bro, I can't even imagine though, because it's one thing to like, cool, a dead body, but your first body to be a kid though.
yeah, kid, bro.
I can't even imagine how that is, bro.
Well, it's not like a kid, like a toddler, but it was like a
No, well,
teenager.
yeah, still,
like,
like, I
And
can't
so-
imagine. I would assume it's like an old person or
Yeah.
like someone in their late 40s, 50s, but
Well, in the hospital that I worked at, it was typically like an old people
Yeah.
hospital. But you know, obviously, shit happens, bro.
yeah, that's crazy, bro.
And so I'm gonna get down to the other shit that I've seen too. But like, you know, like the first one was a kid. I don't know if I remember the name. Maybe if I like really think about it, I will. Cause like obviously we gotta check the wrist
Yeah.
and the toe tag, and then once we confirm that those two are it,
Our
then,
matching, yeah.
then he's pretty much clear. And then we write like other little things, anything that we see, any like, you know, oh hey, he's bleeding from the ear.
But was he like, was he already, like, has it been time though that he had passed, or like, was that like a recent
I have no
body?
idea. That was like the first thing I saw. So, well, knowing what I know now, pretty much most of the time, bodies stay there like a day, typically at the hospital where I worked at. So it could have been that he passed away like maybe like at night, and then the funeral home came to pick up in the morning, or like whenever I came in, you know. So that's typically how I remember it going. But obviously this looked like a young kid, so I'm sure like the family wanted to immediately like
Yeah.
pick him up and, you know, do whatever. So yeah, dude. So that was my first experience with seeing a dead body. It's not traumatic. It's not as traumatic as you would think, because it really does look like somebody's sleeping. So everybody out there, death is not necessarily scary, right? Because like, you know, if you were to walk into like your sister, mom, you know, kid or whatever, and they're sleeping, that's pretty much what a dead body looks like, honestly.
Well, if it's,
Except with more color,
yeah.
right? You know, these dead bodies, they turn yellow, bro. Like when they get cold, they turn yellow.
Oh, I thought they turned like grayish.
Gray yellow.
Oh.
Yeah, because obviously the cold, but then like all the blood kind of seeps down to like
Yeah.
the bottom, you know? So it's I know it's weird, it's weird to
Do they angle the bodies inside where they freeze them, or is it just
No.
like, oh, okay.
back on their backs.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah.
I thought like when they pull out, they like angle down or something.
No. So that was the first experience. I got the job, you know, begrudgingly. You know, I didn't want to keep doing that, but you know, I needed a job, so I ended up asking a lot more questions and whatever. And then like in like a matter of 2 weeks, I got my very first Code M, which happened after a Code Blue, which those who are like in the hospital, who work at hospitals or are studying to be a nurse, Code Blue means like it's like a cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
So like heart attack
A
essentially.
heart attack, yeah.
You know, where you need to give CPR. So and it's weird too, because usually all the dead people died in the morning when I was working.
Oh, that's weird.
Because I've worked all the shifts.
Yeah.
And they all happen in the day, like from like 6 a.m. to 2. I
Well,
don't
I'm
know.
sure that's probably just because you were working that shift.
Yeah, maybe my
Because I'm
my
sure,
energy.
I mean, respectfully, I'm sure bodies were coming in all day.
Well, to be honest, my body count is not that much. I worked there for like 2.5 years, and I think it's like 86 dead bodies.
Bro, that's a lot.
Like maybe 2 every month,
Damn, that's crazy.
sometimes 3. But so my actual very first official Code M at a hospital. So this is remember guys, this is like the bad side of the hospital. This is what we all fear. This is the reality of what a hospital is. You know what I mean? You try to, like how the big doc said last week, you know, hospitals are there to try to keep you alive and, you know, help out any way they can. They try to predict all your illnesses to prevent the inevitable of death happening. You know what I mean? And so I got a call of a code blue in the what room was it? It's a it was a surgical room. So somebody had surgery, and I guess it didn't go good because he had a heart attack.
Damn.
He was having a heart attack.
Yeah.
So, and it's weird too because I don't know why we had to be there. I do know why. But I always ask myself, like, what the fuck am I doing here, bro? Like, I'm seeing this guy, woman, kid, baby, like, die in front of my eyes, and it's like, I'm like the only sore thumb. I stick out like a sore thumb because I really can't do anything, right? Because so when the code blue gets called, like the emergency nurses go to the room, you know, and then all these monitors and stuff, like the very important, like top of the nursing class, they go in there and they essentially, if you do not have a do not resuscitation order, they'll go and try to save your life by any means necessary. You know what I mean? And so, shout out to all those nurses that have to do that. But so this guy, it was an older gentleman. He had surgery. I don't remember what kind of surgery he had, but he ended up having a heart attack. And you know, I think I was in the surgical room for like, I think it was like 6 minutes. That's how long it takes, guys.
Nah, it must have felt like a long ass 6 minutes.
But it felt like a long time. And so I walked into the room. By the time I walked in there, people were already giving him CPR. They're giving him like that little breathing tube. And they did that for a couple minutes, of course, and then they get the defibrillator, and you know they try to shock his heart back to, you know, beat or rhythm. But unfortunately, this guy, he succumbed to whatever, you know, tragedy happened to him. And I said I don't know why I'm there, but this is the reason why security guards are in the room. So obviously family is there too, you know, so his wife and his kids were there. And, you know, obviously they don't want their husband or father to die, you know, but like there's only so much you know, a doctor can do. There's only so many times you can shock a person back to rhythm. And so I think the head nurse just, you know, just kind of like he called it. And obviously the wife was super upset and like almost jumped all the nurses that were there. And me and another security officer were there to, you know, prevent that from happening. And, you know, we got to get in there. We get scratched. We get punched. You know, like imagine what it would be like to see a loved one die in front of your face. You know what I mean? Like you want to be there to do everything you can, right? But sometimes you can't. And it's like all the emotions get to you. And so obviously all these emotions got to his wife, and she tried to jump in there, but you know, like we can't allow that. We don't allow, you know, the nurses to get in any danger, right? Because then also there's a lot of resentment to the nurses and the doctors, right? So as soon as like the head nurse calls it, everybody just like literally like splits as soon as possible because of that very reason, right? There could be resentment, there could be hatred, you know, why didn't you keep going? Like, he was alive 2 minutes ago. Like, there's nothing wrong with him. Why did you call it? What the hell? And, you know, obviously you can imagine the worst, right? And you can all imagine what goes on in someone's head if you experience something like that. And so we're there to, you know, pretty much essentially protect the nurses and the head nurse, and also protect the body too, right? Because they don't really allow us to let them grab the, you know, deceased. Very morbid shit, man. Very morbid shit.
Yeah, I can't even imagine that type of experience, bro. Especially dealing with like the families and stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Because I feel like I've always like, it's one thing to like, as a doctor or nurse, have somebody die in your hands and then deliver the news right after, bro. Like I can't.
Yeah.
Like to me, that seems like one of the most impossible things to do. But it's like I've seen a bunch of like hospital shows where it's just like you can't
Yeah.
you can't get attached. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like this is just a part of the process. So like
yeah, it's a job at the end of the
it's
day.
a job
for
at the
them.
end of the day, bro. Like
Yeah.
you know, like you said, everybody tries their best to do what they
Mhm.
can,
Mhm.
and when it doesn't, when it doesn't work out, it just it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So I can't even imagine when them, let alone you being your first call, your first
For
code
real.
blue, and you're over here just like
Yeah.
what the hell, like,
Very, very out of body experience, low key.
but for stuff like that, so do you guys have to write like a report? Like, do you guys as
Yeah.
security guys? Oh, so you do
Yeah,
have
so
to
it
write.
would be like, because they call the code blue over like the intercom, right? So as soon as we get a code blue, check the time, and then we, get the time, we get the room, and then we get there, and then we have to essentially describe the scene to our manager, right? Because they investigate obviously, as you can imagine, they investigate every death.
Yeah.
They make notes. My manager, if he was on site, he would be there in the code blue as well. And so pretty much, we have to, observe and report, obviously, and then protect our employees and
Yeah.
and protect as sad as it sounds, protect the property of the hospital, which is the deceased.
Yeah.
'Cause we have to be responsible for him. And like I said, usually when a body passes away or when somebody passes away, like the nurses come in. So the emergency nurses split as soon as possible, right? Because they're in danger. And then like the regular nurses come in and they have the bag, the white bag. They put the tags, and then that's when I get the call. That's when I finally get the release. We'll be like, hey man, you're good to go. You can take him downstairs now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I get help by the nurses. We pull the body to the gurney. We hide. There's a special gurney that has it kind of looks like curtains.
Oh, to cover the body.
Yeah, it kind of looks like like when you order room service. I don't know if you can imagine that.
Yeah.
Has curtains, and so it's a big curtains, and then we just take it to the elevator and go all the way downstairs, and then go into the morgue. And then so the next process would be when we wheel him down, we put him on another gurney, and then that's when we check. Okay, he's got a tattoo on his neck. He's got a necklace. He's got whatever. He's bleeding from the nose. He pissed his pants. Shit like that. And then we put him in the room, put him in the fucking freezer, bro. And we wait until the funeral home comes. And we do that same process again. We take him out, put him in a gurney, check him again, make sure nothing happened, and then release him, and then that's it.
That's insane, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, just for being a security, because I know, obviously,
bro. And I was getting paid $13.
I was about to say, bro, there's no way you got
Yeah.
paid enough to deal with some shit
No,
like that. Like
there's
that
no
sounds
way.
ridiculous.
There's no way. And then just knowing what I know now, it's like, bro, what the fuck? I was working for $13 an hour and I was doing all this shit. Not to talk shit. I did a lot, but it's fuck, man, that was a lot for $13. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, bro.
They got their money. Yeah, they got their money's worth for
Hell
sure.
yeah, but imagine all the fucking trauma you have now.
Yeah. So
Because imagine that, bro. You working security guard at a hospital. Now, anytime, let's just say you get sick.
yeah.
Bro, that could potentially be
Yeah.
you. Some fucking security
Yeah.
guard could be rolling your body into a goddamn freezer.
So what happened? Yeah. So what happened in my head was obviously all the bodies that I had to see, I got very desensitized to death, in a sense where I kind of just accepted the fact.
Yeah, you make peace with it for sure.
Yeah, because it's how you just said, bro, we're sick right now, right? Or we're getting over our sickness
getting over our
from
sickness.
past weeks and shit because of the fucking rain. But you'll be surprised how many times people die like that. All of a sudden there's a code stemming, then there's a code blue, and then there's a code M. So the code stemming, for the people who don't know, that's the nurses predicting that he's about to that the patient's about to have a heart attack, because you get all these monitors on you and it tracks all your blood pressure and everything. And so a code stemming is the warning. It's hey, this person is is about to code any minute. You know, he's stemming. Like, we need to do something. We need to give him some medication to relax him. We need to do whatever. But most of the time, you know, they code blue. And then that's when, like, the emergency services again go into the room and they try to save the person's life, pretty much. But yeah, man, one particular body that really got to me, that kind of broke me, was, so this was like I had a, he's probably not gonna listen to this. I don't think he would, but I had a supervisor. I'm not gonna say any names in case he does ever listen to this, but he had just had a kid. Like, he just recently had a baby, and then all of a sudden we get a code M in the nursing room, in the mother's room, meaning that, like, you know, the baby that was just born like minutes ago, that came into this world, you know, didn't make it out. And I remember my supervisor just kind of like breaking down, and you know, he's a like Army vet, Marine. He's decorated. You know, he's super tall. He's tatted all over. And I just remember him kind of freezing, you know, like stopping in his tracks, you know, because I could obviously imagine that, you know, he didn't want to go into that room because he just had his baby, right? And so I was like, oh, dude, I'll take care of this one. And then this was my first code M in one of those rooms. And again, guys, it's gonna get very real right now. And this is real. This is really what happens. This is what they look like. If you know you don't want to listen, you know, I would understand, but just beware. So I went into obviously the NICU, right? And then I was like, oh, I'm here for a code M. You know, I brought the gurney, and they're like, oh, you don't need the gurney. You can leave it right there on the corner. I was like, what? I don't need the gurney.
That's crazy.
And they said, yeah, here you go. And they just passed me what looked like a 6-foot Subway, you know?
Oh, that.
Like that. They're just, oh, here you go. This is the code M.
They just handed you the baby like that?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, they gave it to me in a basket, but still, it's like, oh yeah, here's your code M. And I was like, where is it?
You know? Where is it?
And then it was wrapped up, like, you know, like maybe like 6 turns, you know, wrapped up like a mummy, pretty much. And obviously we have to check sometime. Well, I don't think on this one we had to check. I had specifically asked my manager and the head nurse of the NICU. I was like, hey, do we have to check this you know, child? And in this particular case, they said no, but there was another case where we did have to check, and it's just, that was like scary, you know?
Damn, I can't even imagine that, bro.
Yeah. And I don't think I want to describe this one to you guys, you know, just because it's, you know, I don't want you guys to get any images of that, you know. I don't want you guys to be scared of listening to this podcast, you know. It's not supposed to be a serious podcast. It's supposed to be funny. I'm just kidding. But, you know, this episode's very real, right? You know, like we warned you. This is the real dark side of the hospital. This is what really happens. And so, you know, those were some of the things that I saw. You know, if you can imagine too, like I was talking to the big dog earlier before we started recording, sometimes with these code blues, you can hear the bounce of the ribs, bro. You can hear the lungs being like pushed. You know, you can hear the air going through their mouth, their teeth, you know. Sometimes it's just very graphic, you know, and very real, you know, it's a very serious situation, and it's real, man. And that's what happens at a hospital. You know what I mean?
No, and I can't, like, again, bro. And imagine that, like, again, like being a parent, a sibling or a friend even, or whatever, of just like, hey, man, like, and you know what, that always trips me out too, like, when it comes to situations like that, it's like, what if you just picked the wrong hospital, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, if
Yeah.
an incident happens, you have to go to the first emergency room, the first,
Yeah.
whatever. And it's just like, what if you just happened to pick the wrong hospital? What if you would have taken
Yeah.
them to a different hospital? Like,
Yeah.
what should be different,
Yeah.
And that's why,
I
like,
definitely think that.
and that's why it always trips me out too, especially like how people just, how do you forgive a hospital, right? Like, or how do you
That's what I'm
get
saying.
past the fact of
A lot of resentment, a lot of
like
anger.
like obviously we've dealt with a lot of death in our life, and
Yeah.
like shout out to one of our coaches from high school.
Oh yeah.
Every time I pass that hospital, like it always reminds me of it, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, damn, like you kind of, and you don't even think about it. Sometimes you can pass them and you don't even think twice, but then sometimes you're like, that's the last place I saw that from. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and I think it's always, I don't know, like I don't know, like a love-hate relationship, I guess, because it's just like, well, sure, like they did their best,
Well, yeah, well, that's on the subject that we talked about last week, which is the same as this week. That's probably where all this fear and anxiety of any hospital visit comes from, You don't want to hear that bad news. You don't want to hear they're like, oh, dude, hey, man, we need to take you in right now. Like I know you feel okay, but, inside of your body is not okay kind of shit.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, that's like the reality, though. And that's shit that people have to kind of accept, And it's better that you guys do go and check yourself every year,
definitely.
at least be ahead of the curve, right? In case like anything happens, you at least have data, right?
Yeah.
And so, don't like typically people would go to the hospital like when it's too late, and they're like, hey man, like I've been having this acid reflux and, I've had it for like months, but this time it's worse. And then you go in and it turns out that it's, cancer and shit. And then it's like, oh, it's irreversible. And that's like another whole can of worms. You know what I mean?
That's tough, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, this shit happens every day, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, every day,
bro.
Someone's dealing with that. And the sad reality, bro, is like, we're all going to deal with it at some point. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why I think, like we talked about last week, that hospitals are like a place that you just unconsciously just like don't like, right? Because again, if you have fears of doctors, of needles, of blood, or even sirens, bro. Like I know people that are scared of ambulances, you know, whatever, because it's attached to something negative. So I don't know, dude. Like I didn't, like it's always weird to get to a specific point when you talk about these type of conversations, because it's just like someone listening right now could be going through this, right? And it's just like they probably don't know how to deal with it, and it's like how you said, like talk to somebody, go find a way to deal with the emotions that you're feeling, like, like excuse me, like expand yourself, bro, in the sense of like, don't close down, don't close up, like find a way to not face the reality of it, but just kind of like make peace with it at the end of the day, because it's just like
everybody's gonna go through
through with it, bro, and it's like obviously everybody's gonna deal with it a different way, and it's just like we can't be upset at the people that try to make a difference or like try to save one of our loved ones, because even nurses and doctors, they have to go through that every day, bro. Every day they have to wake up to eventually be like, someone's gonna die in my fucking operating room today. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's real, man. And if anybody does have any like feelings or any things that they're going through right now, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll be here. We'll lend an ear. We'll listen. We'll talk about it. Whatever you guys need, we're here for you guys as well. Yeah. So please reach out if you have any stuff like that's going on in your life. Yeah, man. So that's like pretty much like the real dark side of a hospital. You know what I mean? That's like the worst of the worst, right? Obviously, that's death, the inevitable, the end. That's what it is. But like I said, like the hospital where I worked at, it was more like a old people's hospital. So like a lot of people, mostly like the people that pass away in their sleep, which is probably like the most goated way to pass away is sleep.
Yeah.
And you just don't wake up. But since it was an old people hospital, a lot of people came in with like, their mental issues and like, a lot of people came in confused and erratic, right? And so sometimes they'd call like code grays. So code grays in a hospital would be like, essentially it means violence. And that means like the patient is like being threatening to the nurse or just throwing shit, just being weird or whatever the fuck, and just, in a threatening manner. And so when we get those code grays, we would have to go over there. We'd have to take gloves. We'd have to put on like this, like, it looks like an apron, but you guys can imagine it's like a surgical apron. And we got to put those on to give us a little bit of protection, because most of the time these fools would be like shitting themselves, pissing themselves. They'd be bleeding. And so like, obviously for $13 an hour,
fuck, that's
we
crazy,
literally
bro.
have to fight for our lives and restrain a fucking confused man or a confused woman and, strap them down to the fucking bed and, deal with that shit.
Yeah, bro.
Go through, the threats of like needle poking and all that. It's the weirdest thing, man. But, I really appreciate all the people who still do it now. I think I already did my run. I don't know if I would go back. I mean, I think I could go back and I'd probably be able to pick it up, but I don't think I would want to anymore. It's a very high stress situation, There was another time too where a younger lady, a teenager, she came into the ER, and as a security guard, we have to check their belongings, make sure there's no like there's nothing danger, right? Like a bomb or a gun or something, just anything that's in the backpack or purse or whatever. And one time I was checking this I was folding this chick's pants, and I got stabbed by a fucking razor blade that she had in her fucking pocket.
Oh, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah, dude. And I didn't even fucking notice until I started, like, you feel like that, like, well, I mean, you probably don't. You'd probably bleed out, but, like,
thanks, bro.
I'd feel like a sting, right? Like something itchy, and then, like, all of a sudden, like, my blood would be red, and I'd be like, what the fuck? And then, you get that fear, right? And it turns out that I was sliced by this fucking razor blade that's in her fucking pocket. And then obviously, like, me not knowing what the fuck to do, I freaked out. And then my nursing friends, they cleaned my wound up as soon as possible. They bandaged it, and they sent me to, the offices and whatever. And they just, they ended up just giving me a tetanus shot, which hurt.
Yeah, I can just imagine.
And that was like the first shot I've ever had, like, in like 15 years. Because, like, I had vowed myself never to take any vaccinations after, like, 11 years old. And so that was, like, one of the first shots I ever had, and they fucking hurt, bro. That one hurt a lot. But, I guess it's good for 10 years, so I guess.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Tetanus shot, yeah. Yeah, so that's, like, anything metal, rust related.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, metal, yeah, so. That's what that tetanus shot is.
We should probably get like some nurses on here, bro.
Yeah, we'll get some nurses
or like some doctors, just to kind of see like
yeah
how do they deal
their perspective.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
This isn't technically like a part 2 of the hospital episode that we had last week, because there's gonna be unlimited parts for all of our episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like the big doc said, eventually we want to get guests in, and I still am very good friends with a bunch of nurses from when I worked at the hospital, and we could get them on like 6 months, maybe a year from now, and we'll still have another hospital episode. So don't think that if we have a second episode about the same subject that's it. Like, no, there's gonna be more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're always gonna get other people to come in and talk about like we had mentioned in one of the first episodes we put out, that a lot of the times we're gonna get people who are gonna talk about the same phobia that maybe we share, or like, because we also want to see how different walks just deal with certain phobias. How do they deal with the daily adventure of like being afraid of the dark or spiders or heights or whatever. Like whether you're a doctor or like a construction worker, like what's the differences or like the similarities that these people share,
right?
Or deal with at the end of the day.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for those episodes. As we wind down with this episode, do you have any other questions, Big Dong? Anything else you want to know?
I'm good. I just want to say, obviously, I think a lot of people are gonna be a little tripped out just because this was on the sadder, more serious, darker side.
Yeah, real.
But again, guys, like these are things that happen every day, and like we want to be able to share these stories with you guys. Obviously, like Fabian said, he's had his experiences with life and death. I've had my experience with life and death. So, again, if there's anything else that you guys want to know about us, like we're pretty much open books. So. Yeah. Don't be scared to ask us, personal questions or whatever. Like, and even if you just don't want to leave it on a comment, DM us. We're always checking our socials. So, again, thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. It is gonna be a little slower than our other episodes, but we want to be able to offer you guys all types of episodes.
Yes,
so thank you again for tuning in. And thank you for all the love for last week's episode. You guys really enjoyed that one.
Yes, sir. And, with that, we'll leave it off. We'll see you on the next one.
All right. Peace out.
Later.
Late.